Okay, before we start talking about the print that we see in front of us, let's just talk a little bit about the history of printmaking. Signature seals, the small engraved carvings pressed in wax on a note to show that the letter or the note had not been opened before the person who received it. That was the beginning of printmaking. Then they began to use printmaking in fabric. Think of all the decorative kimonos, drapery. That was printmaking. They also use printmaking for playing cards, if you can imagine. So that is kind of the history of how printmaking got started. But there was also a very strong interest in printmaking with the Asian countries. So the technology was first developed by the Chinese for making wood block prints from multiple blocks. So they would carve out 2 or 3 blocks for different color printing. And here we have 2 courtesans by a Japanese artist. He they're very interested in portraying the most elegant aspects of the 18th century Japanese life. He portrays women of great beauty. The favorite subjects were courtesans in the pleasure district. If you look at this, it has a gridded structure in which he places 2 figures. Graphic contrast, equally realized in the contrast between the inside and the outside of the display window, as well as the fact that one courtesan stands while the other one sits, reflects the philosophy embodied in traditional Japanese philosophy of complementaries, opposite forces. These images are also called nishiki. It's Nishiki-E. Pictures because they resemble Baroque fabric. So this is just a visual of the Asian Japanese idea of opposing forces complementing each other, complementary forces. So as you can see here, you have light and dark, black and white, working in a circle. So just a visualization of what the Japanese Asian artists are after in their prints. Here again, we see the Japanese wood print being used to show the fashionable young ladies of the courtesans area. Again, we have opposite or complementary forces being played out in the image. So we have the grid structure. We have one young lady sitting down, and then we have one that is standing. We have one that's inside, one that's outside. Very interested in complementary opposite forces. And again, this would have been a multiple of matrix wood, several, probably 3 or 4, one inked with each color, and it would be lined up or registered so that it would all line together to make this lovely print. So again, another wood print, Japanese wood print. The subject matter is a lovely courtesan. If you can see the contrast between the very decorative patterned kimono or dressing robe that she's wearing and compared to the very open, nothing in the background. That contrast again, complementary things going, those forces coming together. It's very delicate. If you look at the face, she's looking away, but her body's facing the opposite direction. So again, complementary forces working together. Take note that the European artists at that time are starting to really look at these Japanese wood prints and taking a very keen interest in them. So in this print, we have, it's cut into 3s. We have lovely ladies, of course, working in the print shop, and it's just kind of showing you them inking and drawing and putting together and hanging the prints, what they would do in a print workshop. Again, we have the complementary forces. We have lots of busy, beautiful fabric patterns, and then nothing on the walls, on the ceilings, on the floors. Very clean, beautiful contrast between that. White open backgrounds with beautiful colors in the foreground.